I'm live, aren't I just? Hi, hi. I think I'm the only one in the room. It says one person. I'm guessing that's me. Look, I got air, fire, water, earth, as if by coincidence. I chose them. Welcome, welcome if you're watching this on playback. As I say, I love these super chats and live streams on Facebook because you can watch them live or later. So if you are interested in what happened to the 11 a.m. Super chats that I'm doing while we are in this global situation that we are in, I am doing them in my private Facebook group, Mark Angelo Lyons, Mal for short. It's in the description box. All are welcome, children. All are welcome, and that's just stunning. So it is officially 11 o'clock. I see now there are 2 people in the room, me being one of them. So as you are ready, I just put some copal on a bed of sage and mugwort. And, you know, you have to get the sage and the mugwort going first before you put a resin on it, by the way. Because then it acts like charcoal, because I don't like burning charcoal in my house. Oh, I love copal. And this is some kind of special copal that I got from Catland in Brooklyn. No, it doesn't say what kind. I know I have like special copal or something up there. Y'all can't see, but at the top of the bookshelf there's jars. I'm such a witch. Like you wanna thrill me? Get me Sumatra pods for my Verissimo machine or mason jars. It's such a witch thing. Hi, Grace. How are you, sweetheart? I put out a message on the Facebook group that I would be doing this tonight. Hopefully we're not so glitchy at night. I did a little video, well, I did a super chat earlier today because it was just the easiest way to get it out there. My executive decision that it seemed to, this morning's 11 a.m. super chat on Facebook was so glitchy that almost really a little less than half of it was gone because of buffering or whatever. And I figure because the family behind me literally is a family and all their kids are home, that they were all probably streaming on their devices or whatever. So it just made, I guess it's the internet traffic. Hi, Julia. Hi, sweetheart. Hi. So I just made the executive decision because it does not seem to happen when I do it on Facebook. Like at all. There's no glitchy at all. So I'm very, very glad that that this works. You did text me before? Oh, right. You Facebook messaged me. Did you say text? That goes right to my phone. Did you actually text me to my phone? Let me just check, because if I'm not getting messages, that's not good. No, I don't have you on my cell phone. So that means you, yeah, I saw, I replied. We're good. Well met. Hello. Moonshade Botanicals. Cool name. I'm just Mark Angelo Lyons, Mel for short, and I am stunning. Now, can you guys see this regular? Because to me, it's backwards. It's Nignuts. Oh, I guess that is nuts, isn't it? Nignuts. Totally sounds like an Oz word. Wizard of, not the Chris Maloney prison series. Oh, dear. So, we have 9 people in the room. Okay, well, I usually wait until like 5 minutes after, so it gives people time to get in. It's not like I script this stuff. We say an opening prayer. If you're new to these, you'll see the opening prayer kind of handles everything else. And then it just kind of flows through me. As I said, hi in the right way. D. Hansel, I love you. I love you. Julia Raven Butterfly, I know who you are. I know who you are. I know who you are. Michael Starziak. Hi. Oh, it's Julie. Oh, got it. Oh, cool. Oh, neato. Cool. Hey there, Karen. This is so cool. For those of you who are not in the private Facebook group, I got a little emotional in that last Facebook live stream I did. Meanwhile, I have to tell you, I'm getting these messages from gay men all around the world. I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened? I didn't do any specific magic or spells, unless this is something I did in the past that's just all of a sudden decided to manifest. But these men from all over the world are hitting me up. I think I got like 200 new friend requests in the past 24 to 48 hours. It's a little overwhelming. Because, you know, where were they? Where were they all a couple of years ago when I was like, well, I don't want to say the slut from hell, but, you know, and the ethical slut, you know, that I am. Great book, by the way, Ethical Slut. It's a really good book. I loved it. So anyway, back to business. Oh, I'm on my business YouTube. Got it. Yeah. Good. Natural Virgo attraction. Yes, because you can't have us. Oh, there's a part of us that will forever remain untouched. All right, it's 11:05. Let's do this. I do like to give people, I mean, the messages that I'm getting from these men all over the world on Facebook, it's like, then they find out I'm a witch and then they unfriend me and block me. I'm like, what is that about? In my profile picture, there's a big pentacle hanging on the wall. Like, what do they think that is? Like, I forgot to take down a Christmas decoration? Who has a black pentacle Christmas decoration? Just saying. Anyway. Oh, muggles. What are you going to do? Everyone take a nice deep breath. Oh, and this copal on sage and mugwort is just giving me life. Oh. Here we go. Dearest God, Goddess, all that is, we surrender this time spent together to you. May it serve your purposes. For we are here only to be truly helpful to each other. We are here to represent you who sent us. So we don't have to worry about what to say or what to do, because you who sent us are directing us, and we are content to go wherever you wish in this super chat, because we know you go along with us. Chat what you would have us say and to whom, that together as one we may rise above the empathic turmoil, the cacophony of thoughts and opinions that are so conflicting and turbulent, and that we may even rise beyond our own perceptions of what is, that we may see with the eyes of spirit, that we may get a glimpse of the divine plan fast enough, that we may be restored to peace of mind, an open heart, an open soul, radiant, a channel of divine love, divine wisdom, and divine power in this world as we crew together for the well-being of all. Thank you, God, Goddess, all that is. Thank you. So mote it be. And so it is. Witches are boo scary. On my scruff profile, somebody explained to the women what the scruff is, and the heterosexual men at some point. I actually say, by the way, I am a pagan. Boo. And if that's a problem, too late, already baked in. And it doesn't stop them. Doesn't stop them from wanting to see private pictures of me, as he said while crossing his legs under the dining room table. Yeah. So for when we do these at 11 p.m., always feel welcome to show up in your jammies. I am in mine. Yeah, I had my happy ones on today, my smile emoji sweatpants all day long, pajama pants. But now I'm in my brown, fuzzy, warm bathrobe, so comfy. So today was an interesting day. Any Pisceans in the room? Any Pisces, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, Mars, any of that? I'm Pisces Moon, because we are still in Dark Moon and Pisces, and will be. Oh wait, no, I've got the app. I use the app iLuna, ILUNA. It is very helpful. See, that's what it looks like right there. That's what it looks like, iLuna. Let's see, not void. When do we shift over? The moon goes void, of course, at 10:51 a.m. tomorrow. That's intense. Okay, so we're almost out of that. And then will go into Aries at 8:57 p.m. So good. To the majority of tomorrow, moon's void, of course. So maybe we get a break from some of the enhanced, amplified empathic waves going on. But you know what? I don't think electromagnetic waves care all that terribly much about where the moon is. I just know for sure that when it's dark moon in Pisces, which only happens once a year, it tends to hit me, making me extra sensitive. And I was today. But I was able to breathe through it. So maybe we'll do a little breath work tonight. Certainly that salt bath that I took tonight was helpful. And of course I had to take pictures of it. I teach by example. And it probably sent another 1,000 gay men from around the world to find me on Facebook. But in the words of the great ascended master Doris Day, que sera, sera. Whatever will be, right? So how are you all doing? This is a chat. This isn't a lecture. I mean, yes, we have some time. I want to make sure that everybody is here. I see from the majority of people, at least that are in the chat, that a lot of you are in the Facebook group. So by all means, get to know each other outside of this live chat situation, because you're all good people. And I actually know all of you, I think, just looking through. And if I don't, then we are Facebook friends and we're getting to know each other. Just a North Node in Pisces. That's all for me. Oh, well, that's enough. A North Node in Pisces. At least in your next life, you'll be a little fishy. Woo, fishy queen. Yeah, not so much for me, but yeah. So, all right, well, let me say this. I can talk about my clients without breaking vows of confidentiality, which, by the way, the reason why my intuitive skills are so strong is because I made vows to my gods, and one of many of them, is the vow of confidentiality. So as long as I don't break my vows of confidentiality, my intuitive skills are just going to keep getting bigger and bigger and stronger. Just saying. Spent day. Okay, good. It's been a long time, so this is awesome. I know Julia and I know each other from a long time ago in a forest far away. Oh my God, Julia, were you there for when I did the Banana Boat song? Were you there? Comment, because that was some ritual. The coven I belonged to at the time, we were tasked with doing the opening ritual for Black Forest Clan in August, right near Lammas, right? The second, third day of the heat. So I don't remember that. No, I was, well, the god Lu. It was a Celtic group we were working with. So I was the dead god resurrected. So at the time, J-Lo was really huge, so I called myself Gay Lou. And we sang the Banana Boat song. Drew down the sun, and someone actually got heat stroke. Because you don't want me doing that kind of magic. Maybe another year, very, very possible. Grace, so you lost it today, crying, screaming. I understand. I was on the phone with one of my clients today who really could not stop crying on the phone, and it was fine. I don't admonish people for having emotions. I'm a Pisces moon, but could really, really feel where they were. Hello, Krista. Welcome. Yes, the ritual, hymn to her. Yes, that was the one. That was the one with hymn to her. If you are unfamiliar with the Pretender song, A Hymn, Hymn to her, Her, incredibly moving song. I love Chrissy Hines so much, but she scares me. Like, I never want to piss her off. She looks like she could cut you with like a fingernail. I really love her. Yes, with Diane, that was the one. Yeah. So Grace, let's talk about this a little bit, because it is so isolating where we are right now in the world, because literally some of us are isolated. I am isolated. Like, I stepped outside of my condo today, and by the way, my condo it's a freestanding house. I just have the mirror of my house on the other side of this wall, and my neighbors were poking their, hey, Mark, You okay? I'm like, I'm fine. I'm healthy. I love you. It's the sweetest little connection. But other than that, I live and I work alone at home with my boys, and I'm a hermit. I totally dig it, considering how public our message until later in the evening. So this is why I'm going to truly suggest, if you are in the Facebook group, as Grace is, to post there. Even if you're just chatting with somebody in Facebook Messenger, right? What I really need to do is I need to ask people to be moderators for the group, and someone who really doesn't have all that much to do throughout the day, so that they can catch things like that if I'm not there to catch it. Because with a Facebook group, if you are a moderator, or in my case, I guess I'm an owner, you get notifications for every single thing that goes down, but it gets lost in the shuffle, particularly if I'm recording for hours and hours. So, Grace, I just want you to know that though I wasn't there with you in that moment, the amplification of what's going on emotionally on this planet, and yes, the dark moon in Pisces is part of that. It's squeezing emotions out of people in order to heal. And I would like to, all right, private message me, and we'll talk about that. Krista, sorry, don't know who I'm talking to, I'm pointing at a laptop. But that when the emotions are coming up, the healing is already taking place. Now, I have said this in other videos. I think I even say it in some of the recorded reads that I'm doing. Think of a pimple, a zit, a boil, if you really want to go there. The oil of boil. You know, when you squeeze it, or what do they call it, when you express it, such a great word for popping a zit, the infection comes out, right? You don't heal the pus. That is the healing process. That is the emotion that's coming up and out and through us. Do you follow? So it's not that the emotions need healing. The emotions are the sign of the healing. So imagine, if you will, here, this won't be a meditation. It's not even a visualization, but if you can, close your eyes and see if you can get a sense of this, right? So I'm pretty sure we're all familiar with the energy system, right? We do understand that there's our nervous system that carries electric impulses, if we're going to call it what it is, nerve impulses, right? It jumps over the synapses to the next nerve and stuff like that. And the chakras and the meridians sort of manage all of that. Each chakra, a different database, a different flavor of power. Read Anatomy of the Spirit by Carolyn Myss, MYS. That's one of my favorite books. And so when there is an empathic wave, understand the root chakra, which connects us to the planet, the Mother Earth, is the tribal chakra. That's tribal power. So that's where the collective stuff is coming from. It's not coming through the air. It's coming in a way through the ground. Like if you put your ear to the ground and someone's drumming 100 feet away, you can hear the drumming, right? So those impulses of emotion are going down into the earth and coming up through those who have been working on themselves, clearing their chakras. So imagine somebody dealing with what's going on the planet right now, right? Afraid, I see Michael, afraid of losing their jobs, or afraid of not having enough money and losing their homes. I mean, that's happening to millions of people right now, and not just here, around the world. But they say, I've got to be strong, right? Good. Typical divine masculine, right? Well, push it down, got to be strong. So they push it down into their cell tissue, but then it hits the collective and sends this wave out. And if you've been clearing yourself energetically at all, whoop, up through you it comes. Now, the first thing it's going to push up is your own personal trigger, right? So your unfinished business in your cell tissue, right? Your cell tissue literally is holding on to the biochemical components of your emotions that you have not dealt with. Cortisol, just the stress hormone alone. And there are all these amino acids. For every emotion we have, this is how ingenious the human body is. For every emotion we have, the hypothalamus in the brain, a gland, puts together amino acids and all these chemicals to match our emotions, and shoots it into every cell in our body. So if we don't breathe through it, if we don't express it in a healthy way, or worse, if we identify with the emotion, Eckhart Tolle, Power of Now, it just keeps repeating. It's like we express it and then we suck it back in, like the sponges that we are. So someone represses it, it goes down through the root chakra into the Earth's planetary field, and Mother Earth, the goddess herself in Earth form, redistributes it to the people who can handle it. You don't hear much about pressure cookers anymore. Like if you ever saw that Lucy episode, I Love Lucy episode with the pressure cooker. Well, it's this big pot that you have a lid to, and then you clamp it down, and there's usually one valve in the top, or at least that's how the old-fashioned ones were made. And then you turn the heat on underneath it, and it forces the flavor into the meat, the chicken, the vegetables, whatever it is that you're doing. But then you let it out. You let the steam out through that little valve. Otherwise, if you just take the pot off, comedy ensues. Right? Boom, ba, boom. So if you came into this life to serve Mother Earth and all of her children, because my vows are to the gods and all of their children, which isn't just humanity, it's all of life. That's what my vows are. I wouldn't wish it on anybody, man. It's a rough crowd, right? That's why I have that Pisces moon. And it took me decades to learn that what I was feeling was not wholly, WHOLLY, my own. So Grace, that's why it is so important that we have context. And that context will fly out of your mind when you get triggered, right? But that's when you reach out to somebody and say, I don't know what this is. I don't know why I'm crying, which is what my client said to me today. I don't know why I'm crying and why I can't stop crying. And this is somebody who actually said, well, I don't have empathic skills like you. I was like, apparently you do. Right? So there was a mental shift that needed to take place there for them. Now, add to that, any kind of spiritual practice that you do, whether it's daily devotional work, prayer, meditation, particularly yoga, Tai Chi, that integrates that stuff into the body, it's going to help move this stuff through you while at the same time making you a clearer channel for more stuff to come through. See what I'm saying? This is why a daily spiritual practice, even if it's a different daily spiritual practice every day of your life, the gods don't care. It's like, well, should I scrub the dishes with joy or, I almost said Prel. What's that one? Dawn? Or should I, it's like, it's whatever gets them clean, gets them clean. The gods don't care. And honestly, in my experience, because I talk to the divine every day, Zeus, Buddha, Jesus, Mary, Joseph, Thor, Odin, Osiris, Isis, all lenses through which the one great divine light is filtered through. So pick a lens, switch them up. They don't care anymore. I don't know that they ever did. I think that was the human projection. All right, so let me see here. Oh yes, pressure cookers can be an adventure, right? Just give me a minute, I'm catching up here. Are we supposed to be pressure cookers? No, we are the valves. We are the valves through which the pressure releases. And here's what you need to know. If you're feeling it, you're healing it. It's on its way out. Air condenses into water, water condenses into ice, right? Well, ice is then the body. It's the cell tissue. Vibration starts to shift. Things get heated up. You start doing a spiritual practice, adding your intention, the element of fire, moves the stuff from the cell tissue, from earth into water. There's the element of motion coming from you. But if you push it back down, oh, it'll pop up through somebody else maybe, or maybe it sits in the cell tissue and creates a dis-ease. Yeah, right? Particularly the heavy toxic emotions, terror, fear, guilt, rage, that kind of stuff. But if you have a modality, if you have a means through breathing, through the loving of the heart, the inner child work, the whatever it is that you're doing, to get that water to evaporate into air. It moves up through the chakra system and is healed. So if you are feeling it, you are healing it. But the emotion doesn't need healing. The emotion is the effect of an energetic healing already taking place. Does that make sense? Yeah, I wanted to answer that. I think that's really important. Let's see. Okay, good day, Mark. How are you today? I'm okay. I just saw an accident in town at an intersection. Oh, a middle-aged lady. Oh no, and a young lad in another car. Wait, hold on. Wait. Can I? Oh yeah, I can scroll back up. A car, immaculate condition, son driving. Oh my God, I'm so sorry that anybody has to see that. My dad not happy when turned up non-insured. Oh, sweetheart, that was you? So I just saw an accident in town. Okay. Wow. I just started typing. Okay, I'm just, because there's some overlapping conversations here. I am trying to keep up. The dad, the other person's dad. No, his dad could see the anger in his eyes and the fear in his son's eyes. This, God, it could have been fatal. I told his father to be thankful, as the car saved his son today from being a paraplegic today. That's a light worker. That's a light worker. Now, just to hold off on chat for a minute, Maria here was in the right place at the right time, not by coincidence. You came in to help the evolution of planet Earth. We all have. It's not like, oh, just you and me, darling. No, we all have, and knew exactly what to say. In any given moment, we always know exactly what to say. It's when we start projecting into the future or regretting what happened in the past that there's static on the channel. It's amazing. All right. The clearer we are, the more we feel it, and the easier it passes through us. I would say that that's true, that it becomes simpler, but simpler need not imply easy. I'll give you an example. Grief, right? And people don't realize, if you don't deal with grief, it sits in the body as anxiety, because grief comes from loss, right? It's love that doesn't know how to express itself, because the object of love's attention, love's affection, is gone through death, divorce, or distance, right? Well, if you don't deal with that, it sits in your cell tissue as anxiety, which is the fear of loss. So a lot of people who have solar plexus stuff going on, like ulcers and anxiety and panic attacks, it is the fear of grief, which is the fear of loss. Does that make sense? So as you get to more familiar with these emotions moving through you, without them possessing you, without you acting out on them or trying to medicate them through unhealthy means, you learn their voices, you learn their I almost want to say personalities, their vibration, their wavelength, and they become friends. Now, not friends that stay very long, but as you give them room, in other words, the grief within your own body, the anxiety within your body needs more love, not less. And unconditional love means love without condition, but it doesn't mean behavior without condition or toxicity without condition. If you're feeling it, it's safe to feel it, but you have the free will to either push it down, medicate it, if you like, repress, be possessed by it, or find a healthy way to express it. And that's why I do such a focus on inner child work, which maybe we'll do some tonight. Cool. So does that help, Michael? Let's see. All gratitude for each other. The father actually thanked me, his dad. Good. That's really, really wonderful, Maria. That's a wonderful story to hear. And you know, I'm not patronizing you. That's the thing. When you're a hermit, I've been saying this for years, I'm not on the front lines anymore. I was on the front lines back in the 90s when I worked at Body, Mind, and Soul and the crystal stores and working for Starborn Unlimited and, you know, all of that stuff. Once I started Drawing the Circle Productions, I wasn't really on the front lines anymore because I was being hired, right, to speak and teach And then I had people in my home. So I haven't been on the front lines, but people who are in public, you guys are essential. The ones who are working in the world. I mean, I worked retail for a really long time. I mean, talk about, it was really hard for me as an empath. But, you know, I survived it. And now I'm really back. I guess I'm a general in a tent way behind the front lines, right? So each and every one of us has a vital role to play in the awakening of planet Earth. And it's, you know, the awakening of planet Earth, Mother Earth is already in fifth dimensional consciousness. That's why we feel such relief when we go out in nature, right? We can harmonize and attune to it, right? It's magnificent. When we're talking about the awakening of planet Earth, we're talking about the people, right? Awakening from the third dimensional illusion of separation, crime, war, violence, misogyny, misandry. I learned that one this week. That's the hatred of men. A nice touch of. That's why I came back as a gay man in this life. I had to work on that one by dating all of them. Right? Racism, right? All of this toxic stuff that we're trying to abolish, right? Homophobia, transphobia, all of it. It's all part of the illusion of separation. You with me? The fourth dimension is time. So if you think of the lower three chakras, right, the root, the sacrum, and the chakra, as the navigators of the third dimension, then the heart, the throat, the third eye, and the crown are the fourth dimension of time, that it takes time to heal and clear the emotional power, the willpower, the mental power, and the spiritual power. It's like an alchemical laboratory. That's a Carolyn Myss term, the alchemical laboratory. And then what's the eighth chakra? The fifth dimension, unity consciousness. This is your higher self. This is the guardian angel. This is the abode of the gods, well, fifth dimension and above. So for all these decades, you know, we could really go back. We could go back to when the Dalai Lama was exiled. It released Tibetan Buddhism to the world, right? Talk about a tragedy. I mean, he was essentially the holy king of a country and got exiled. But if it didn't happen, we would, you know, Tibetan Buddhism wouldn't be so global right now. As well as the release of Vatican II. Yes, the Catholic part of it too. It released all of this spirituality into the world. Masses were no longer done in Latin. They were done in English, right? So people started interpreting things in a whole new way. And then what was right after that? Oh, the New Age movement, give or take a decade, right? So now people are meditating. Oh, the Bhagwan Sri Rajneesh came to, was that Bhagwan? No, not Bhagwan. That was Osho. The one that hung out with the Beatles. Who's the guru? Oh man, Paramahansa Yogananda. Thank you, Paramahansa Yogananda. Didn't know he was hanging out with my peeps, right? So transcendental meditation. We've been in preparation for this for such a long time, but we've been embodying it mostly through the mental, right? Necessary, the sacred mind, the divine mind. But now, if you've noticed, because we've been ingesting it and talking it and going to therapy and healing, I mean, 30 years ago, you didn't dare tell somebody you were going to therapy. Now it's like a badge of honor, right? Because now it's in the heart. That's why this is the time of the divine feminine, not just the sacred mind. We needed that in place, but the sacred heart, not just the divine masculine, the God, but the divine feminine, the goddess. And that's why now we are in the time, the rising tide of the divine feminine. Hi. Did that make sense? Did that make sense to you all? Oh, I think inner child work is good. It has been a lifesaver for me. Ever hear of Magical Child? Honey, I'm from New York. Of course I've heard of Magical Child. I think I met, oh God, I suck at names. That is my worst fault. Was it Herman? God, I suck at names. But yes, I met him back in the 80s when I was a bit more edgy than I am now. Let's see, Maria. I am home these days. Myself just went shopping, heard the bang and raced over to see. Oh, gotcha. Being home these days, yet I get shown visions that are unreal. No, I hear you, honey. I'm back way behind The front lines. Are you running a tape over this tape? Are you asking me that? I don't know what that means. Mark, I get confused now. Coming out of Christianity, I say source, soul within the white light Gaia. Here's the thing, all of this mental stuff, the illusion of separation, no, that's not the soul, that's the higher self. No, that's not the ascended masters, that's the gods. Notice how we're still categorizing. That was necessary. It was necessary because we had to have a languaging so that we could communicate and spread the spirituality in whatever way, shape, or form. But I've said this in classes. I don't know if I've said this ever in a recorded format. When I was 18, 19 years old and I was living in Boston, I don't know if it was a vision or a visitation. My eyes were closed, I'll tell you that. Jesus came to me. Now, not in physical form. I would have checked myself in somewhere to this day. If somebody appears out of thin air, get me some Thorazine, I'm going to South Oaks. Call me a cab. I'm not driving myself. I'm locking myself away. But we had a little chat, and he's the one who said to me, because I was like, but I mean, I love you, but can I be a witch and, you know, love Jesus? Because to me, Jesus, I don't know why, I've always been this way. He's an older brother. That's all. He was a divine being in physical form, just like we are. He was just a couple of steps ahead, an enlightened master, no different in some ways than the gods. And some people will call that heresy, but what have you. And he said, honey, well, he probably didn't say honey, that's my extrapolation. He said, don't worry about that. One light, infinite lenses. Choose your lenses and replace them as needed. And he said, if anyone ever gives you shit about being a witch, you tell them to come talk to me. And can I tell you, I've never had to. Never had to. So it's all one. It is all one. Sure, we take our own individual, unique natures with us as we grow and evolve from lifetime to lifetime, the soul, if you will. But at the end of it all, we all come from the same source. And to the same source we shall return like a drop of rain flowing to the ocean. Oh, pagan dirgy chants, man. They're still imprinted. Yeah, so let's see. Wait a minute. Aren't we all called pagans if we're not in the book of most lies? Well, now here's the deal. The way I learned from comparative religion, there's Christianity, there's Judaism, and then there's the Islamic traditions, Mohammedanism. I'm very careful about that, but those are the patriarchal religions, right? Those three, the three big ones. Everything else is paganism. So understand that over centuries, we needed that sort of stricture and separation. It was just part of the divine plan while we gradually woke up. But understand, we had to evolve technology, and I'm talking the wheel, the inclined plane, the pulley kind of technology, right? Growing and evolving. But just like a child needs training wheels, they're falling off. That's why so much dissolution and splintering within religion, because most people will tell you they're not religious, they are what? Spiritual. And that's the dissolution of the third dimensional illusion of separation, or the end of the world as we know it. But it's only as we know it and how we knew it, because we're learning it. We're learning to know it in a different way, one through the eyes of unity, that we are all one. Yeah. So as I think Matt Kahn said this too, somebody asked him, well, is this the end times or is it the Great Awakening? And he said, yes, right? Because it's all how you want to see it. You may not be on the front line, but your work from the back is essential help. Well, thank you. And fortifying the front lines. But so here's the thing, is people think that I am so important. And last night, or was that this morning, we had this talk about me being special. I don't like the word special because it means separate, and it really, holy is the word you're looking for. But if you have trouble calling me holy, then you have trouble calling yourself holy, and put a W in front of that H and it's holy, right? The issue that I have with me being more important or less important than anybody else is, think of an automobile. What's the most important part of an automobile? I don't know. It seems like you take one part away, it's not really great, right? Oh, well, we don't need the axle. Yes, we do. Axle rose, sorry, popped in my head. Well, the steering wheel, no, we need that too. Well, the lights, yeah, no. Well, windshield wipers, no. Windshield, no. Every single part of the internal combustion engine and everything connected to it is essential. Now, okay, maybe the backup camera is a little not essential, but I finally got one on my new car, and I would kind of want to live without it, right? I can pair my cell phone through Bluetooth to my car. I'm so excited for that. I haven't had that. I drove a 2004 Saturn Vue until a week ago, right? 16-year-old car. So no more important, but a solid teacher. But here, now, some of you have been hearing me say this for a little while. We are all spiritual teachers, and I mean everyone on planet Earth. And let me explain what I mean by that. First of all, we're all spirit. So this idea, oh, he's so spiritual, or he's a spiritual person. We're all spirits in body. It's a question of, are you awake of that or not? And that has to do with your fear to love ratio. So that's why when you are purifying these emotions and they're coming up through you, you're actually, if you're loving what rises, doing the self-healing, whatever you are led and guided to do, you are awakening out of a nightmare of the illusion of separation into what the Course in Miracles calls the happy dream. The happy dream. We're still appearing to be separate, but we're realizing we are not, okay? So this process of spiritual evolution that we're in, you are spirit, and you can't help but teach, because you teach by example. But what are you teaching? Now, again, I have a very strong background in Course in Miracles. That's it. Course in Miracles is what got me through my second degree in Black Forest Clan, which nearly fucking killed me, all right? It was the ability to forgive, because I'm sorry, at the time there were no books on witchcraft that talked about forgiveness at all. There might be some around now, because it's considered a Christian thing, but it's not. It's actually a psychological process of healing, total other conversation. That being said, when you find something that works for you, that's healing you, that's helping you, trust that somebody will come to you, crossing your path for a reason, a season, or a lifetime, that you will be able to share that with. But 9 times out of 10, they will ask for your help. Offering spiritual guidance to those who do not ask is a great way to shut them down so that they don't ask again for a while, until they're in more pain. I don't know about you, but when somebody says to me, you know what you should do? A part of me shuts off still to this day. And there's the ego voice or the angry child in the back of my head that says, no, but you're going to fucking tell me anyway, so go ahead. Right? Like arms crossed, right? Live your love, and you don't have to dye your hair purple to do it, although I highly recommend it. Overtone, purple for brown, right? So I hope that clarified some stuff. Also, I've been put on pedestals and then knocked off enough times. I'm done with that. That last coven I was with, never again the coven times. Ixnay on the oven K for the rest of this life, at least. Cool. Sorry, I'm trying to catch up here. Gods, it's all new to me, Bart. Yes, you can find me on Facebook, Mark Angelo Lyons, Holbrook, Long Island. I'm the one with all the gay men stalking him. Love Doris Day, Ascended Master Doris Day. Let's see. I just view the different spirituality and religious generally as just different pantheons and needs. Absolutely, I'm right there with you. Moon Shay, a friend of mine said we are all on one mountain climbing to our God, just on different sides. Unity consciousness, absolutely. Not more important, but a solid teacher. Okay, now I think I've caught up. Not whole E to be made whole. Holy, not whole E to be. Oh, okay, cool, got it. Good point. That's what Diane kept trying to help me get to know. Oh, I miss my Diane. Diane was always my elder. She was always my Piscean elder. I miss her terribly. I really need to message her. And Jean, my God, I miss Jean. Maria, I tell everyone, view all religions and see the one thing they all have in common, the one truth that we all have within us, source. We are free, not with religion, soul source. See, that's what Jay said to me. And by the way, I don't call Jesus because he wasn't Latino. That's a Latin name. His name was Yeshua with a Y. Josh, Yeshua ben Joseph, Josh, son of Joe. They wouldn't have written about him with that name, right? Yeah, Josh from down the block. A prophet is never accepted in his own hometown. Let's see. I've just recently found a path I didn't know I was even looking for. I just cleared out some of the underbrush and another path appeared. And there will always be a higher truth. I learned that from a Hindu avatar back at Pillars of Light in Huntington in 1994, 95. And I loved her because she was smoking cigarettes in the back room, and people were shocked she's smoking cigarettes. And I swear, see, I don't smoke anymore. Here. So she went, oh, it could only hurt me. It's just a thought, and it's only a thought, so it can't hurt me. I was like, rock on, girl, right? But she's the one that taught me there will always be a higher truth. Just when you think you have reached the top of one mountain, you're at the foothills of the next. So that's why the mind is always going to compare and contrast, and the ego is always going to say, no, I have the truth. I have the one pure truth, and it is stunning. It just scared my cats. They hate this thing. They just shot upstairs. Felines, nothing more than felines. But it's true. You clear the brush, there will always be another path. There will always be another path to take you further. And honestly, with all that I have been through in this life alone, just this life, really, just the past 5 years, just the past 10 years, it would be so easy for me to become bitter and a martyr. Now, the martyr is an archetype that in its golden light, healthy side is magnificent. It's selfless dedication to oneself or a cause, right? It's just beautiful. Martyrs have changed the world in that way. But I grew up with real toxic martyrdom, addiction to self-pity, manipulating others, and I can't bear to be around it, right? People are like, well, don't you know what happened to me as a child? I'm like, no, but I guess you're going to tell us that they use their pain and suffering to manipulate other people. Look, I'm sorry if anybody has an allergy to something, but it does not mean that I have to stop eating it. Or if I don't mean to pick on vegans, but for some reason I had to learn from a lot of judgy vegans telling me that I was a bad person because I liked meat. Well, once you see the quantum field and that it's all fucking quarks, you get over that PDQ. So it's not so much the toxicity of the meat as it is the toxicity of the judgment. In other words, it's not so much the hate, it's the stupidity. Just saying. And we're all stupid until we learn. Just saying. Yeah. So yeah, I'm a little bit radical that way. I'm here to love everybody, but that doesn't mean I have to like everybody. There is a difference. You know, you're allowed to not like people. It just means something in your solar plexus or in your energy system says, there's something there that's not for me, maybe later, right? And to allow that feeling to come up. Sure, the judgment itself is this leaded toxic veneer, but thin. You allow that to feel that to come up, for it to burn off in your awareness. And what's under that is a gold nugget of intuition. And often that gold nugget of intuition is saying, this isn't right for me right now. I'm out of here. Yeah. When I worked with the Ashaya monks, Michael in particular, it was actually the name of my monk teacher, Michael the Ashaya. He said to me that in desert caravans, if you can imagine a desert caravan, right? Like on the back of dromedaries, right? On top of camels, that they would have somebody walk behind the camels so that every time they lifted their tail and pooped, see, I'm being kind, I'm using the colloquial poop, they would put it in a basket and carry it along. Now, first of all, what a shitty job. I'm sorry, I was raised on bathroom humor. But what they would do at night when they would, gather the caravan in a circle and they would have a fire in the center, they would, throughout the day, dry the camel dung and they would throw it on the fire as fuel, and the fire would burn brighter. What Michael explained to me was that is what samsara is. It is the pain and the suffering that we go through. It's the dung. It's the shitty stuff in life, like what we're all dealing with right now. But when we allow it to be, when we love what rises, when we embrace the pain and the suffering, it makes our awareness, our spirits, our souls burn brighter, transforming, alchemizing lead to gold, shit to shinola. I don't know what the other side of that is. Shit to fertilizer, right? That we've been trained to avoid our pain at all costs. Hence, racism, misogyny, addiction of every shape and kind. But that now we have the opportunity, we have the tools to actually embrace the shadow. It's a shamanic thing, embracing the shadow. It's also a Jungian thing, right? So I think you're getting that where we are right now was going to happen one way or the other, written into the divine plan. And I don't mean to frighten anybody or bum anybody out, but we don't live forever in the same body. Eventually, I'm not going to be in this body. Eventually, someday I'm going to croak. You do understand that. And that, the spoiler, happens to all of us. So get that we were chosen to be here at this time, in these bodies, with these names, with these personalities, and everything is scripted. If you can, go watch the movie. I'm sure you'll be able to find it on YouTube somewhere. What the bleep do we know? And once you start educating the mind about quantum theory, quantum physics, you begin to get that, oh, I can't really get it wrong. Because let's say I get it right. Let's say you say the wisest, most healthiest decision here at this crossroads, I'm going to turn right. Well, then there's another version of you that goes straight and another one that goes left. So you can't get it wrong because eventually you all merge up in the future anyway. Oh, sounds like a video game, doesn't it? Because that's what video games are based on. Quantum model. Everything's already programmed. So Course in Miracles says, and if you don't believe me, Google this. You are merely observing what has already gone by. We're just watching the replay. And it was Matt Kahn that put the idea in my head. He talked about not just reincarnation, meta-incarnation, that when we croak, we play the same life over again to make different quantum choices, but all choices that were already programmed in, because time and space happened like that. The alpha and the omega happened like that. And we're just in the gap between those two snaps. Shit. I didn't come up with this. This is metaphysical teachings. Well, Maya, M-A-Y-A, M-A-I-A, M-A-Y-A, the illusion of it all. Yeah. Camel joke. But yeah, I can't help it. Let's see. I'm 62, learning more to accept better that we are all going to move on. Because living in the same body forever isn't immortality. It's Nosferatu. It's vampirism. And everything in this world has to kill to live. Haven't you noticed? Haven't you noticed? Everything has to feed off of something else. People are like, well, animals. It's like, yeah, but the animals eat vegetables and the vegetables eat minerals, right? So it's really save the crystals, save the minerals. And all works out in the end. And going back to something a dear friend of mine said to me, and I'm sure you've all heard it. What is it? It all works out in the end. So if it hasn't worked out, it's not the end. Something like that. Cool. Living forever in this body would be horrible. I know. I mean, I look good for 51. No one's more shocked that I look like this. I mean, I was much heavier. I look older when I was younger than I do now. I think a large part of that was getting the hell out of Sayville, man. Whew, psychic weight dropped. I was carrying a lot of people's stuff there. But there you go. It was the dark night of the soul, death and rebirth. And again, Course in Miracles, there is no crucifixion without resurrection, or if you prefer, there is no death without rebirth. There is no winter without spring, unless, of course, if you live up north or way, way, way down south on the poles, but it's metaphor, people, right? Cool. So I want to do a little something with you all. You look better than you do. You do. Okay. How kind of you to say. Did I mention I was raised on My Fair Lady? My mom totally raised me on Broadway musicals, and shocked that she had a gay kid. She wasn't shocked. She said I knew him. She knew when I was 4 years old. Might have been my infatuation with my first coven, Carol and Paula, with the pink squirrel, and I don't mean the cocktail. We're going to do a little something, right? Because I've really enjoyed this. We started with a prayer. We did a lot of Q&A, which I love doing. But we are going to do something a little different to end with. We're going to do a little meditation. We're going to do some inner child work, but not so much of that. I mean, you're always got to love what rises within you anyway. That's part of the process, to love more, not less, what comes up within you. You're clearing for the planet. But to kind of soothe the child. And if emotions come up, know that it means it's safe to have those emotions now. Cool? So I'd like you to all take a minute or so to get yourself physically comfortable, right? People say, should I sit up? Should I lay down? You do what's comfortable. If you lay down and fall asleep, just understand you're going to have your computer on or your device on. Sorry, I'm getting all sorts of messages here. All right. So just settle in, and I want you to, if you can, close your eyes and breathe. Two of the most effortless things to do, usually, right? Close your eyes and just focus on your breath. And you don't have to do anything fancy with your breath, but just focus on it. This is not a discipline we're about to do. This isn't even a spiritual practice. It's just engaging in a relationship that we've always had, but may not have realized we have had. First of all, the relationship with your breath. Let it wax and wane. Let it come and go. As you breathe in and breathe out. And let the body relax. Scan yourself from head to toe for any place that feels tight, tense, or holding on, and do whatever you need to do to get physically comfortable. Neck roll, shoulder shrug, stretch, so that the body does not become the focal point, but rather you, in a way, lay it aside temporarily to go deeper within. And I would like you to focus your attention on your heart. And I don't mean the organ, which is slightly to the left of center within your chest, but directly in the center of your chest. And if you like, you can put your hands on it, one hand, two hands. I usually use two, just so that you can be aware of the rise and fall with every inhale and exhale. And this really is centering breath. You're focusing on your center, your heart center, Anahata, which is the Sanskrit name for the heart chakra, means unstuck, meaning it flows. As long as you're alive, as long as prana and chi is moving and you are breathing, the Anahata remains unstuck. And now imagine in the center of your chest a ball of emerald green light. That with each breath you take, it glows a little brighter and maybe expands a little more. It doesn't have to get great, big, huge, but that it radiates. sort of like blowing on the coal of a flame or in a fire pit or something where you breathe on it. With every inhale, it gets a little hotter, and every exhale, it radiates a little bit more of this beautiful emerald green light, like sunlight through the canopy of a tree. And in the center of that green sphere of heart light, emerald green heart chakra fire, is a child. An innocent, peaceful child in repose, resting, relaxed, drowsy perhaps, half-lidded. And just like a baby will be, very easy when they're resting, when they feel safe. And just hold that image as you cradle that child in your heart. Each breath warming the child, cooling the child, feeding the child the chi, the prana, the life force that is carried on the breath. And keeping your hands on your heart, on your chest, I would like you to now imagine up in the sky a beautiful star above your head. And now descending from that star is your higher self. You can see it as a god, as a goddess, as an angel, as a whatever, a butterfly. It's an energy being, so it can take any form you imagine. And as it comes down, it places you in its heart. So now you are surrounded by a sphere of emerald green, higher self heart chakra fire. And it's breathing into you, feeding you, loving you, cooling you, warming you, cradling you. So in your heart is the child, to which you are its parent, the mother, the father, both. And this higher self is your parent, the spirit, the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit, the maiden, the mother, the crone, the baby, the human, the angel, all one, like Russian stacking dolls. And just breathe. And I volunteer myself as a voice of the collective higher self, also known as the Holy Spirit, HS, higher self, Holy Spirit. All higher selves as one. And the words they give me to speak are simple. And as you hear these words, let them move through your energy field and then say them silently or aloud to the child in your heart, almost like a game of very clear, precise telephone. Sweet child of my heart, it's okay. Sweet child of my heart, you are loved. Sweet child of my heart, your feelings are important to me. Sweet child of my heart, I am sorry you have suffered. Sweet child of my heart, We have always been together. Sweet child of my heart, you have always been within me. Sweet child of my heart, thank you for being. Sweet child of my heart, thank you for loving. Sweet child of my heart, thank you for feeling. Sweet child of my heart, I love you. I love you. I love you. You are guiltless. You are sinless. You are innocent. You are perfect as you are in process. You can't get it wrong. You are perfect in the roles that you play. Every feeling you have serves. Every emotion you feel heals. I love you. You are worthy. I choose you. I accept you. I approve of you and your perfection. I love you. I love you. I love you. And breathe. Breathe in the breath of the higher self, the angel, the true self. Breathe it through you and into that child in your heart, in the great unity of the truth of who you are, the child, the parent, the angel, the God, the goddess, all the way up to source. This is who we are. All levels of consciousness made of light. I am the light I am. I am the light I am. Not the light of light versus dark, the great light, the quark, the subatomic particle, the subparticle. I am the light I am. So mote it be, and so it is. Breathe. And as you are ready, if ever, wiggle fingers, wiggle toes, bring your awareness back into the physical body, and keep this in mind. That child's not going anywhere, and your higher self's not going anywhere. You all exist simultaneously. And as you become more aware of that child, you will become more aware of your higher self, because that child holds the seeds of the higher self in your body. It's the divine child that you truly are. How y'all doing? Oh, good God, 51 years old. Who believes this is what I'm doing with my life? I'm thrilled. No, seriously, no sarcasm. Any of you that are new, this is blue solar water. It's not booze. I just put it in blue glass. I like the darkness. I've been battling the last 2 years. Has finally started losing because the darkness is made of light. That's why it's called embracing the shadow, not repressing it. Your shadow is just where your love is to be directed, in my experience, to each their own. So guess what? It's 12 minutes after 10. I think this was pretty kick-ass overall. I love doing these at night. You'll all sleep like babies, as it were. You're welcome. But I am going to sign off for now. I will see you all around 11 a.m.-ish in the morning, depending on when I wake up. I love you all so very, 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 very much. And I'm so grateful for all of you who joined me tonight. And whether we are aware of it or not, what we did tonight helped heal millions from the inside out. Yeah. Thank you so much for being with me tonight. As I now sign off, as I always do, and say it with me, folks. I love you. Hail, farewell, and blessed, blessed be.